On December 30th, 2019, Dr. Li Wenyang, a 34-year-old ophthalmologist at Wuhan Central Hospital, took to a group chat he was in with some friends from medical school to discuss a SARS-like illness that had recently been sickening people around the city. He posted a snippet of a lab analysis that had found SARS coronavirus and extensive bacteria colonies in a patient's airways, and said this new illness had even led his hospital to quarantine some patients in the emergency department. "So frightening," a member of the group chat replied. "Is SARS coming again?" Suffice to say, the Chinese Communist government, which, like all authoritarian regimes, is often more concerned about protecting its image than the life and safety of its citizens, was not pleased. And even as dedicated public health experts scrambled to warn each other and to collect more information on what was happening, China's security services were busy trying to stop them. In probably the starkest example, on January 1st, the Wuhan Public Security Bureau summoned 8 doctors, including Dr. Wenyang, for posting and spreading, quote, rumors about Wuhan's hospitals receiving SARS-like cases. While Dr. Wenyang was eventually released 2 days later, that wasn't before he was forced by police to sign statements acknowledging that his warnings had been, quote, illegal behavior. Meanwhile, even as the city of Wuhan and the nation of China were getting sicker and sicker, business as usual didn't stop. Community events, political parades, public gatherings, and global commerce, including most importantly for this hearing on global aviation, continued, allowing this virus to spread first within the city of Wuhan, then within the rest of China, and finally out to the rest of the world. At 2:58 a.m. on February 7th in the city of Wuhan, Dr. Wenyang died from the very virus he had tried to warn about. A virus which, as of today, has infected almost 95,000 men, women, and children across the globe, including right here in the United States, and has killed more than 3,200 people, including 9 who are in Senator Cantwell's home state of Washington. What we now know is that the virus Dr. Wenyang and others were warning about, and the virus that took his life, wasn't SARS, but it was similar. It's the novel coronavirus, now known as COVID-19. The spread of this virus across the globe has had and continues to have tremendous and far-reaching impacts. Commerce has slowed, faith in government has been shaken, and people are, understandably, scared. This virus has also called into real question the efficacy of international organizations like the World Health Organization and the ICAO, both of which we reached out to participate in this hearing, but both of which either declined to participate or didn't respond. The ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization, for instance, excluded Taiwan from its information sharing regarding the virus. This despite the fact that viruses like this, as SARS showed us, spread overwhelmingly by air travel, and Taiwan has the 11th busiest airport in the world. The WHO, for its part, has praised at every turn the response of the Chinese Communist government, despite the mountain of evidence showing that they played down the seriousness of the virus and the extent of the spread for more than a month. If these organizations aren't going to look out for the broader global interests and are going to instead praise authoritarian regimes, it begs the question if it's time to reevaluate our participation in them, or at the very least to make a concerted effort to push reforms. COVID-19 is a real and serious challenge, and we need cool heads and fact-based decisions. Not panic, not hysteria. Unfortunately, some in the media, whether intentionally or not, seem to be inciting panic in Americans over the virus. That's a large part of the reason why we convene these hearings, to give the American public the opportunity to hear straight from officials on the front lines without spin or partisan bias. So here's what we know. This is a rapidly changing situation. Every day, and on some days every hour, we're learning more about the virus, where it is spread, and how the human body responds. So far, the mortality rate has been around 3%, and most of the deaths have been in the elderly and those with underlying health conditions. The virus appears more transmissible than a typical seasonal flu, but so far reports indicate the vast majority of cases are moderate to mild, requiring little to no medical attention. Early on, the administration acted swiftly to limit travel to and from the affected regions and to quarantine Americans that had been to those regions and to deny entry to foreign nationals from those regions. This was the right thing to do, and those actions have proven critical for slowing the spread of the virus to the United States, and it's bought us additional time to prepare. But now the virus is here, and it's spreading, and we must be ready for the fight ahead. There is more that can be done. There is more than should be done. Communication between agencies and municipalities is vital to containing the spread of the virus. In San Antonio, communication was lacking, and a patient was released from Lackland Air Force Base prior to testing positive. After testing positive, the patient was returned to quarantine and is currently under the supervision of the CDC. I urge the CDC to stay vigilant in keeping lines of communications open with all localities to ensure the safety of the public health in Texas and all across the United States. We must do everything we can to marshal every resource necessary to protect the safety and lives of Americans. So I look forward to hearing about the facts. I look forward to hearing about the medical science. I look forward to hearing about what we know, what we're doing, and what more we can and should be doing. And with that, I recognize Senator Sinema for her opening.